Dear friends, this really is not going to be so much a homily, but a few pointers on indulgences and a few calls to greater prayer for the poor souls. First of all, you might have noticed that it said the first Mass for the day. Actually, your programs may have not even said that, but the Mass texts that are used at a sung Mass are always the ones for the first day, or for the first Mass, rather. There are three Mass sets of prayers. Some of the prayers overlap, but these three Masses are offered through the day for three different intentions. The first one can be for whatever intention the priest has, although this morning I offered it for all the poor souls. But it could be for a particular person who's died. The second Mass is always offered for all the souls of those who have died. And the third one is for the Pope's intentions, but it's specified because it was Benedict XV who in 1915 wrote a decree allowing priests to celebrate three Masses on this day. And this was a fairly large, or a pretty big thing for the time, because generally speaking, a priest only celebrated one Mass per day, even on Sundays. And for Christmas and for the souls of the faithful departed today, All Souls Day, three Masses could be offered. But he expressed what his intentions were also in that letter. And at the time that he wrote this is in the midst of World War II, World War I, I'm sorry, the Great War, as he spoke of it. And so his intention was for all those who had died in the war. So one author I saw said that really in a certain sense we're praying for those who died in the First World War. I have also heard it said that it's for all those Masses that have failed to be offered by priests, whether through neglect or maybe they've passed away and failed to hand those intentions on to others. Anyways, the point is, though, that no one is being forgotten, or the most forgotten, those who have died in gruesome or unforgotten places, would be remembered this day. To help you in praying for the poor souls, there is in the back a couple different prayer brochures. Over the days that follow, I will put out more in the racks that are in the vestibule. The whole month of November is dedicated to the poor souls, but in a special way, there's an octave starting today in which indulgences in a particular way can be gained. If you happen to go to visit a cemetery with the intention of praying for the dead, that would have been one way, but you can do that also throughout the octave. Being here this evening, you also have the opportunity to gain an indulgence in a church or in a public oratory. You would have that opportunity as well. So don't let the opportunity pass by to gain that indulgence. It can't be applied to oneself, but to the poor souls. The hardest part about gaining an indulgence is detachment from sin. But really pray at the end of this Mass, maybe as we're doing the absolution of the catafalque right after this, which represents all of the poor souls. Really pray for that detachment of sin so that you might gain a plenary indulgence, a total remission of sins and the punishment they're due, so that tonight some poor soul might be released because of your prayers. How to gain that? There's the usual conditions. Having gone to confession within, usually, generally speaking, a couple weeks before or after, having received communion on the day. So communion is an important part of way of gaining an indulgence. Even if somebody doesn't receive communion, they can still gain a partial indulgence, but to gain a plenary indulgence, the reception of Holy Communion is important. To pray for the Holy Father. Generally speaking, that is an Our Father and the Creed. Sometimes people will say, Our Father, Hail Mary, Glory be in a creed. That's a good way to make sure that you've prayed for the Holy Father and his intentions. Pope Pius XI, who you may remember from Sunday, established the Feast of Christ the King. He laid down that the way this indulgence would be gained today would be by praying 6 Our Fathers, Hail Marys, and Glory Bees. While I believe that further legislation has reduced that to the Our Father and Creed, still, maybe in that sense of doing a little bit more, we might pray at the end privately 6 Our Fathers, Hail Marys, and Glory Bees for the poor souls. Finally, may they pray for us. Today we have done this evening and throughout this day a great act of mercy. And the poor souls are always grateful and will reward or pay us back so much more. So in showing them mercy, they too will remember us in their prayers when they make it to heaven. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.